Ruined buildings, a staple. A staple since the beginning. Ruined buildings everywhere. Let's design one together. Because a ruined building needs no roof because it's ruined, we can essentially treat building this like just designing a two-dimensional thing. So how far can we push this? There's only two critical measurements when it comes to making buildings. The first is how tall a second story is. I normally go for like 3 inches. And then doorways. I find that doorways work best at about 2 inches. And then we need to work out a material. I'm thinking foam board is a pretty good choice for just about everyone, but I think the walls on this look a little bit too thin. This is one of the earliest terrain pieces that I made. Having much thinner windows gives you a lot less cover, which is why I'm thinking this template will use EVA foam. It's much thicker. It does have this rough side, which we'll need to work around. I'm gonna give you some unsolicited life advice right now among this terrain tutorial. I'm very bright. This is my notebook I've been carrying around for like the last 3 months, and carrying around a notebook every single day has brought me so much inner peace. And every time I have an idea, I write it down. And I wrote an idea down a little while ago. New 40K templates. I said, cutting foam board is hard, cardboard details is way easier. And I made a little diagram. And from that, I had an idea for a way to make templates much easier because, okay, you will notice something with all my templates, and that's all the windows are very jagged and sharp. There's no beautiful round archways, which I'd love to do. And that is truly just a limitation of this material, how easy it is to cut. So my idea was to do kind of a sandwich. On the outside, use a thin material that's easy to cut. My thick material that's hard to cut, I'll just cut out like a rough shape. We'll do the backside in that easy to cut material and sandwich it together. It's all theory. We're gonna test it today. Welcome to my little editing den. I kind of like to just jump into this creative process. I skip all paper and go straight to a computer. You will need a unit of measurement. This will ground us so we don't get lost in the digital world. It happens. I use Adobe Illustrator. It's not free. There's lots of free alternative. I'm just stuck in the Adobe ecosystem and I can't get out. You're gonna need to set up your document to have a grid. We live by the grid. We die by the grid. Everything we make snaps to the grid. Just like that, we already have like a house template, right? Let's make things a little bit more complicated. Okay, so this is something I just threw.
Right.
You good? So, I just put this together last 5 minutes. Basically, what I've done is just create all these sort of rectangular elements around the place that I can copy and paste in areas that sort of make... Why do I forget how to use a computer every time I am on camera? And I can just copy and paste these same elements around. I don't need to redraw things, and that's why I go straight into designing these templates digitally. You'll notice that everything's different colors. The blacks are holes, dark grays, that's the very first layer, and then each lighter layer is another thing that I'm sticking on top of that other layer, and that's how we build dimension. We don't need to think in 3D, we just need to think, oh, what would look good on top of that, and on top of that, on top of that, and then we make a 3D object at the end. We'll work out how to make it make sense in a bit. But just go with your dreams first, and then we'll crush them into something that actually works. All right, this is where we're at. I took our sketch and then I made another version using the same elements. Then I made a nicer version of it by just joining all the same kinds of layer pieces together. Okay, you know how I promised you to crush your dreams? Well, designs don't fit on a regular standard size piece of paper. This is A4 size, it doesn't fit on letter either. That's another thing you have to consider, that we have to design for every part of the world. For some reason, some of us decided to have pages that are slightly bigger, and some of us decided to have pages that are slightly taller. And also, to print on a home printer, you need to have like a safety border around whatever you design as well. So really, we don't have that much design room. So my solution, it's a ruined building, we just lop off the bottom. Lop it off. And then I literally just take each layer and drop that into InDesign. Each layer is its own assembly instructions too, because each piece is where it should be on the build, on the page. I know this sort of seems like a lazy design, but in actual fact, I've spent hours and hours and hours trying to compile the best template assembly instructions for all my free templates, and I've worked out the best solution is just to waste extra paper and blank space. I guess that's not so bad, but I think I've had like a total of like 30,000 downloads on some of these templates, and if you think like I could have saved an extra page, that's like 30,000 extra pages going into landfill because of me. Anyway. I'm using a glue stick because I want this to be a permanent bond. The templates are going to stay on most of the parts that we make. It's just easier this way.
Okay, it's important to remember that we're all in this hobby for different reasons, and some people haven't discovered what that reason is. And you might watch me make these templates and use these templates and be like, he's having the best time in the world, I'm gonna do that, and this is for me. And you might get halfway through making a template and be like, I don't know if I really enjoy doing this. This kind of feels like a slog. Cutting out things kind of sucks and my hand hurts. And totally valid, and I've been there. But just know that if you can stick out just doing this one building, you're going to be so proud of what you've made at the end, and all your friends are going to think you're really cool, and you're going to contribute to your clubs or your local games at your house, or putting a post on Instagram. You're going to feel great. So stick it out if you can. But if you've gone into this project and you're like, I'm going to make a whole 6-foot table of these buildings because you've seen me make one of them, know that it's a lot of work. And it's totally okay to have these ambitious goals, because I do that all the time and I realize the reality very quickly. But don't give up. Just see out doing one and then use all the scraps from this project to make rubble piles, and make a table of just one building and the rest rubble piles. And people are still going to think it's really rad. Do you know why? Because you made it yourself.
All right, we overcut this middle layer, the EVA foam layer. So now there's a bit of a gap in the windowsill, which I don't really like. But what we can do is take our scraps from that window, just push it through the hole, and look at that. We've made a little window cover, windowsill type thing. See? Ah, that's nice. A little bit of extra detail too. So we're on to the second template now. And I have to cut out these archways. You want to use like a really pointy scalpel. One of these ones, and that helps you get around all the bends and get in all the tight corners. And then that's pretty good. To marry these two pieces together, we have a lot of options. We could do the overlap. One side just overlaps the other. We could do a bevel, where we bevel the inside bits, put them together and get a flush edge. It's a lot of work. Or we could take our core material and make a little bridge between the 2 points. And I think that looks quite good. But if you want to get fancy, we could give this a proud corner. A corner that is decorative and proud. It sticks out. And if you don't like square, this is a bit of balsa wood, by the way. You could use PVC. I think I'm gonna go with this. We can just do this with super glue because super glue doesn't melt EVA foam. I was just thinking, this is kind of looking a little bit flat. So I designed some side details, added them to the dark, and now we have these. I also made these. A hot glue gun is gonna make really light work of installing this second floor. I just rough cut this out of a bit of scrap EVA foam, a bit of cardboard on the top. Now that we have a fully assembled building, now it's time to destroy.
The trick to a good ruined building is don't be scared to mess it up. The more you hack into each of these individual layers, they sort of delaminate and pull apart from themselves, and it looks even better. It looks like realistic destruction. That's something that we don't get from just our regular foam board templates. By doing all these layers, the destruction has detail. This template was made free thanks to the sponsorship of Ghostfire Gaming. They want to let you know that their tower defense board game, Aberration, is launching on GameFound right now. They said, "Hey Trent, we'd love if you could please mention the character building nature of the game. We can choose your hero and class separately and have a unique play experience every time." Look, Ghostfire, I love that. But oh my god, these miniatures are insane. My brain is melting. You Aussie bloody legends have done it again. Makers of some of the grimmest, darkest quality gaming goods. I've made up that tagline at the end. I bloody love you.
If you're ever in a situation where you need to get your project dry really quickly, this is a solution. Under this box is a food dehydrator. You know what you would put like fruit in to dehydrate it? But obviously something this big doesn't fit in this, so you just put a lid on it. To get this finish, I used concrete spray effect, then sprayed with watered down PVA glue, added some coloured grout, and then sprayed it with a blue wash.
And that's it. The sun's coming up now. I can hear the birds outside. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching. And I hope you enjoy the templates. You can get them on miscast.co for free. They'll be linked. All right.